most times when we're students, we get a different view of teachers that seems like they do the same thing, they're not overwhelmed all the time, but then once you get to step behind the scenes and really see how teachers operate and what they're given and what they are able to do, it's amazing, and that's what I've learned through the program.
Well, it's a lot harder than I thought. There's a lot more paperwork, and the students sometimes aren't as willing to learn as I'm used to. I'm in a lot of AP and honors classes, and growing up with that viewpoint of kids that just want to be there, they want to learn, they're ready to go when they come, going from that to being the teacher and seeing that it's going to take a little more for some kids, and so that's been eye-opening.
After this program, I realized how tough of a job teaching really is. Like, I always had this sense that, oh, teaching's pretty difficult, but after this, I'm like, wow, they have a lot of regulations, a lot of things they need to make sure they're doing, all the while being more passionate about their students and being more caring for them and pretty much like raising them to be the people that they're going to be in the future.
Now, there's a group of students that really seem to have a clear understanding of what it's like to teach. One can only assume that they are teacher education majors at one of Michigan's distinguished universities. Maybe a Western Michigan University honors student. At the very least, they frequent lectures from renowned experts in educational research and practice over at the new Sandgren Hall. But one would be wrong. The students featured in this episode's opening are not college students. They are high school students. The two young ladies, Hannah and Anna, are high school seniors, and Isaac is a high school junior. They are getting an experience usually only offered to junior and senior level college students. You see, all participate in a very unique 2-year career and technical education program located at the Traverse Bay Area Career and Tech Center called the Teacher Academy. The Teacher Academy is very similar to other teacher cadet programs around the state, but has some very unique characteristics that make it a best practice in career and technical education. In fact, this Teacher Academy was just recently awarded the Michigan Department of Education's Excellence in Practice Award. In this episode, we're going to highlight the Teacher Academy and the things that make it unique, impactful, and noteworthy. I first heard about Susan O'Connor's program at the 2013 Michigan Career Conference. A few of the alumni from the program conducted an impressive session highlighting the Teacher Academy. I knew right away that I needed to make a video on this program, so I first drove up to beautiful Elk Rapids, Michigan, to watch one of her first-year 11th grade students teach a 9th grade government class. Afterwards, I sat down with her to find out more about her unique Teacher Cadet program.
When we were designing the program, we knew that we wanted the bulk of the students' experience to take place in the classroom with actual teachers, rather than coming to our center and spending a morning or an afternoon with me in a classroom and having me tell them what it's like to be a teacher and what it's like to be in the classroom. So we structured it in such a way where they can participate in this program at their home school and go into a teacher's classroom 1 hour out of their day, sometimes 2 hours out of their day, work alongside of that teacher, much like a student teacher would, and then they come to our center monthly, sometimes more than once a month, for something called a development day, where we all come together and structure the day around different professional development opportunities and speakers and technology sessions. So really the main focus was to get the kids in the classroom as much as possible.
Susan just mentioned two of the most unique aspects of the Teacher Cadet program. First, the students spend nearly all of the time in another teacher's classroom rather than at a technical center, Second, at least once a month, the students come to the Technical Center for an all-day professional development conference called Development Day. I asked Susan to explain a little bit more about what happens at these development days.
So a typical development day oftentimes begins in the morning with our whole group arriving at around 9. We begin with a little breakfast and then a keynote presenter or speaker. Then we would break out into what I would call mentor-teacher roundtable sessions, and these are little groups, 5 to 7 minute sessions where each of my mentors brings a tip or a trick or a strategy or something that they want to share with students. And the students rotate every 5 to 7 minutes, and they hit about 10 different sessions, and they take away something really great with them on that day. Then we break up into first-year students and second-year students. I will take one of the groups at that time, and then I'll have a presenter or somebody else responsible for the other group. I have a group of student teachers who will come in typically, and they will work with my seniors and kind of get them prepared for college and let them know, what they need to know to be successful student teaching. I have a representative from college coming tomorrow, and she's going to meet with my seniors as well and give them some tips for being a successful college student and help them along with their electronic portfolios. My mentor teachers will have a session with our technology coordinator, and they will be working with iPads. This session is called iPads, Weapons of Mass Instruction. So they're going to be learning about different apps, and they'll get practice with the iPad so that they'll be ready this fall, when the iPads are given to all of my students and mentors. Then we're going to come together in the afternoon again as a big group after lunch, and my seniors will be presenting their electronic portfolios to the whole group. And these portfolios are sort of their capstone project. It's a culmination of their best work over their 2 years in the program. They get up in front of the audience, so they're up in front of 90 students and teachers, and they present their best work. They talk about what they've learned, what they've gained, what their college plans are, and it's just kind of a nice way to close out the year.
So just to clarify, at least once a month, the students and the mentor teachers get together for catered lunches, mentor-teacher roundtable sessions, mentor-teacher professional development sessions, a list of guest speakers, and at the very end of all this, senior portfolio presentations. These professional development days are quite honestly more productive and engaging than many of the professional development that I sat through as a high school teacher. In addition, the electronic portfolios the students develop are quite impressive. The electronic portfolios are developed using Weebly. Students must have an About Me section with a resume, a bio, and letters of recommendation from administrators and mentor teachers. They must visually document the unit projects that they had taught their students. Mentor-teacher evaluations and work ethic evaluations also are posted, along with weekly journal entries. And while the development days contribute greatly to the success of the Teacher Cadet program, what is even more important is that students spend over 200 hours immersed in classroom internships. That is more time than many education majors spend in classrooms prior to intern teaching. I asked Susan to explain the Teacher Academy's internships.
My students have 4 different placements during the course of 1 year. So at the end of the 2-year program, they have had 8 different experiences. We have students who are in the kindergarten classrooms, 3rd grade, 5th grade, middle school. Subject-wise, they can be in a music class, an academic subject, physical education. They can go anywhere as long as there's a host teacher willing to host them during that hour. And the other unique factor about the Teacher Academy, in my opinion, is that we allow for high school students to have a high school placement if they want to. A lot of other programs might shy away from that because they are not comfortable with high school students working with their peers. But I really feel that these students, these future teachers, need to be given the opportunity to work in a high school setting and figure out if that is something that they are interested in and might want to pursue in college.
Yes, you heard right. A high school student teaching other high school students. I was first skeptical of this model, but then I observed Isaac teach a 9th grade government class. Isaac was in his first year of the Teacher Academy, but you wouldn't have known it by observing his disposition and teaching style. Not only was he knowledgeable about the subject, but he also demonstrated many of the characteristics of a good teacher, such as effective movement management, effective wait time after questions, appropriate use of humor, and using probing questions to refocus and increase critical awareness. He was even effective at redirecting questions to other students. It is important to note that as Isaac is teaching, the host teacher, as well as Susan when she conducts her visits, are busy critiquing Isaac's lesson and delivery. Now, after Isaac's lesson, I sat down with Deanna Sayer, Isaac's host teacher, to find out how she has benefited from being a part of the Teacher Academy program.
Teacher Academy has benefited me in many ways. First, I was a host teacher, which meant I had the privilege of having someone in my class to help and just be a second set of hands or set of eyes. As a mentor teacher, I've had the pleasure of seeing the students' eyes opened when they've decided that teaching is exactly what they want to do, or if it's something that they decided they may not want to spend their time doing. And another benefit is when we go to the Career Tech Center, meet with the other mentor teachers, and we are able to collaborate about how the program is going, as well as learn new technology and other things to help us in our classroom.
I also asked her to explain the good and bad of having high school students teach other high school students.
There are some challenges of having high school students teach in other high school rooms. Sometimes they have friends that are in there and it's difficult to separate being the teacher or the leader and being a friend. But there are way more positives than negatives for sure. The younger kids definitely look up to the older kids, even if they're just 1 or 2 years older. The high school students that go in as teachers are able to maybe better phrase or frame something that the teacher doesn't think of. They also think of other techniques and ways that they'd like to learn. So it's a benefit all the way around.
So far, I've only shared the good and none of the bad, so I decided to ask Susan about some of the challenges of coordinating such a unique program.
We have had our share of challenges in the development of this program, one of them being finding exactly the right mentor teacher for each school district. There are so many wonderful teachers out there, master teachers and veteran teachers, but it's finding that person who's just the right fit to work with this group of high school teachers. The person who's willing to be their cheerleader and mentor them and encourage them, yet challenge them, and make sure that they are reaching high levels. So I work very, very closely with the building administrators. We have a selection process we go through. I oftentimes will go out to the schools and interview potential mentor-teacher candidates with the principals. It's really important that these mentor teachers be lifelong learners and they are willing to try new things. They need to be technologically literate, or at least willing to learn new things with regard to technology. So it's just a really important part of this program, finding that right mentor teacher. Another challenge would probably be just the physical distance of some of my schools in relation to where our tech center is. Having 90 students in the program in covering 5 different counties, I have schools that are an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So if I'm going to do a school visit, sometimes I may only get one visit in on a day. So that is definitely a challenge. But we overcome that by using technology. My students have iPads, they have use of Skype, we have FaceTime, we have virtual classrooms. So we're able to get that contact in using technology if it doesn't always happen face-to-face.
Although there have been some challenges, Susan has been able to put together a great teacher cadet program. I decided to ask some of her students to share what they've learned as they've progressed through it.
Well, when I started out, I was very shy and nervous in front of classrooms, and my public speaking skills weren't nearly as good as they are now. But within the Teachers Academy program, I've been able to grow as an individual in ways of looking at how other people work in a classroom setting, and then actually just relating that back to myself as well.
This trimester, I've also been working in the Adult Work Center, which is for students, I believe, up until 22 years of age. And a lot of the students there have severe multiple impairments. And that's an aspect of the job that I never really thought about before. And originally it was a little uncomfortable for me to interact with these students. But through the Teacher Academy, I really gained confidence in this area, and just learning techniques for interacting with these students and learning how to really enjoy my time with them. It has become the highlight of my week, and I just love working with the students at the Adult Work Center.
Well, I came into the Teacher Academy program knowing that I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't really know what grade level I wanted to teach. So I started out thinking I wanted to be a middle school teacher, but my first placement put me in a first and second grade blend, and I found out that that's what I wanted. I wanted to do elementary education. And then I went into a special education classroom and realized that that's what I want to do. I want to be a special education teacher. But then Mrs. O'Connor helped me go to Oak Park, which is a school that is mostly for students with special needs. And I realized that not only do I want to be a special education teacher, but I want to work specifically with kids who have autism.
Kind of the climax of my time here in Teachers Academy was when the first time I really realized I taught a student something. The light bulb went off, and he really learned and gained knowledge from my prior knowledge. And once that happened, I was hooked to being a teacher.
So there you have it, another great CTE program doing great things. I believe teaching is a calling, and programs like this give individuals an opportunity to answer the call sooner rather than later and begin the process of becoming a master in it. I am Adam Manley, and I'd like to thank Susan O'Connor, Deanna Sayer, and all the Teacher Academy students for allowing me to interrupt their busy day to make this video. And of course, thank you for watching. So why do you want to be a teacher?
I want to be a teacher because I want to make a difference in a child's life. I want to be a special education teacher because I want to help those students who need the one-on-one time and patience and just a little bit of extra work.